So you're here because you had a meltdown. Don't worry, it happens to the best of us, especially on the autistic spectrum. But people who don't have autism also have meltdowns or complete and utter freakouts. People with autism just tend to do it a little bit more. And we have less control over it as well. And we often, after the meltdown, hate yourself and you feel guilty. But I thought it would be helpful if we talk through what a meltdown actually is and what a meltdown feels like. And I wanted to make this video interactive for you. So grab a pen and some paper. And as I go along and talk about my meltdown, think, oh, I actually do that as well. And you can make a little note. Or if you don't, you can think, I don't do that, I do this instead. And you can compare techniques. So when I have a meltdown, I often have meltdowns over things that have changed, or like a little routine that's changed, or I'm really bad with time as well. If someone says, oh, I'm going to be there at 2 and they like want to be half an hour late, I panic and I'm like, I don't understand what am I going to do for half an hour, what am I going to do for half an hour? And I start stimming, as you may do if you get nervous. Repetitive vocal stimming, what am I going to do, what am I going to do, what am I going to do? And mental kind of block, fogginess, as you then start to descend into almost a fight and flight panic mode. Not always, but you can go from bad to worse really quick over something very small as well. So if you get upset because somebody changed the TV channel and you weren't ready, or your favourite song was on, or it's someone else's turn to put their song on, and you have a meltdown, and you scream and you kick and you feel mad and you feel angry, don't beat yourself up too much after. Know that the people who are with you, your mum, your dad, they love you very, very much. And I know how difficult it is to say I love you back sometimes. Writing it down is a nice way of doing it. I also wanted to show you what I used to do when I was a similar age. When I was 15, I used to write in my diary whilst having meltdowns. I'll show you a little bit. So if I just get it. I'm not going to show you all of it though, because obviously it's got like really embarrassing things about boys and stuff. So yeah, and some bad language, so I don't really want to show you it if you're too little. But you can see lots of capital letters, lots of screaming again. It's a good way sometimes to get that energy out. Instead of throwing things and instead of hitting yourself, writing it down and getting all that out can sometimes help you recover from your meltdown quicker. And often after I've had a meltdown, I will go from being like stimming, humming, lose my verbal ability. You won't believe it, I talk so much, I know. But I do lose my ability to speak, and you shut down. I think you reach a point where it's so intense, and then you peak, and then, but you have to get over that hump. And I admire people who don't have autism, how quickly they can be upset, and then they can go, okay, but it's not the end of the world, and they can rationalize and move on very quickly. They can do that within a minute or two. Whereas for me personally, I'm not too sure about other people on the spectrum, it can take me about an hour, 2 hours to understand that it isn't the end of the world and that it isn't a bad thing. And I'm 30 years old, so I'm twice the age of some of you kids with autism. So I know it can be really difficult, but I hope that maybe hearing a little bit about my experiences of meltdowns and how I deal with it helps you. And I always find that I calm down quicker if I get to be quiet and to be alone. So when you've had that rage stage and you're freaking out, and then you go numb and then you withdraw for a bit and you zone out, often I'll like stare at a wall like this for anyway half an hour. I've stared at a wall for 2 hours before. And just completely clearing your mind. And it can take a while to come back. It takes a while for my speech to return. It takes a while to visually process my surroundings, and I'm sure it's similar for some of you guys as well. If you find verbal communication difficult, maybe try again writing it down or drawing a picture, or looking at other pictures and showing people how you feel through other people's smiles and other people's sadness. You can point at that. And even though we don't want to burden people, we feel that we don't want to upset them with our meltdowns, they just want to help. Mums and dads want to help. And they want to hug you, and they want to touch you, and they want to grab you and kiss you. And I'm like, no, I don't want that, I don't like that, get off my ew. It actually goes through me. But I understand now that I'm a mother, I understand why they want to do it so much. I understand now. So it's all about trying to respect each other. So don't hate on yourself for being different. I have done that way too many times throughout my life. And to the point where now I'm trying to share some of my experiences about meltdowns, because I wish somebody could have told me years ago that is what they were. Because then I wouldn't have thought I was going crazy. Because when I have meltdowns, I feel like I'm going crazy. So I hope some of you found this chat interesting. It is aimed for teenagers on the autistic spectrum. Mainly high functioning, I guess, just because I'm verbal, but my son is severely autistic. He has very little verbal communication, but however he can write. So if you find verbal communication difficulty and you have the ability to write, then pop me a message, and or you can send me a little video back as well if you want. It's up to you. And okay, bye.